Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about weight loss, why I don't love coaching it, why chasing performance goals I think is a better way to look at physical fitness, and how if you want aesthetic changes, you're probably going to get there easier if you don't focus on the scale. So a lot of people, I'd say maybe even a majority of the people that I meet that are starting to come to the gym, they're starting to engage in physical fitness, are doing so to lose weight. Whether that's the whole lose the relationship weight, shred for summer, abs in 6 weeks, some permutation of weight loss is a really common motivator for people to get moving. And right off the top, I kind of want to clarify, that's fine. If you can approach it in a healthy way, if you find it motivating, if it's going to keep you consistent and regular, it's going to help you get your externals outside of the gym sorted out as well, then more power to you. I'm not judging you. I think it is a perfectly fine reason to train. But personally, as a coach, as a personal trainer, I don't really enjoy coaching weight loss. And there's a couple of reasons why. So firstly, like I said, I just don't really enjoy it. I don't like writing meal plans, checking on people's calories, doing regular weigh-ins. One of the benefits of being self-employed, of working for myself, is if I don't like something, I usually don't have to do it. So I generally tend to not coach people for specific targeted weight loss because I just don't like it. Firstly, I've worked with a lot of people in my career as a coach that have had histories of disordered eating, of body image issues, or general issues with their mental health as pertains to food and nutrition and dieting. So for a lot of these people, they come to me, they want to get in shape, they want to get into fitness, but they specifically don't want anything focused on intentional weight loss or counting calories or anything like that because they've been in the trenches with it and they just know that it is not good for their mental health to look at training that way. So when I coach people for general fitness goals, I take a pretty hands-off approach to nutrition in general. I kind of give advice in broad strokes in the sense of try and eat more protein, get some more fruits and vegetables in your diet, increase your daily activity, etc., etc. But I don't really get into the nitty-gritty with a lot of people, partially because of the clientele that I've had a history of working with. Thirdly, a lot of people claim or they think that they want weight loss, but they actually want something else. And they think that weight loss is either going to get them that, or they kind of treat weight loss as a proxy measure for the thing they actually want. Sometimes they think that losing the weight is going to make them feel healthier, move a bit better, feel a bit more physically capable. Some of them, they think it's going to help their physique, their aesthetics, and just like the way that they look at themselves in the mirror. And other times it's even deeper than that. And it's an issue of self-esteem, self-worth, and some more mental health issues where they think, oh, I'll be happy once I lose the weight. I don't want to discount that there are people who do have serious issues with their weight, and as a result of that, they are having medical issues caused in large part due to obesity. For these people, losing weight might be much more of a priority goal for that, and that's completely fine. But most of the people that come to me and they ask me about advice on losing weight or they want coaching to lose weight, they don't need to lose the weight. Would it help them move a bit better and feel a bit better? Potentially. But they're not necessarily getting adverse health outcomes from their weight. They're not at that stage yet, oftentimes not even anywhere near that. So if I can kind of reframe that approach to training in a direction that I think is more positive and more sustainable, I'm going to try and kind of pull at that thread a little bit. And the main way that I do try and pull at that thread is to reframe people's intentions in the gym, going from weight loss goals to performance goals. When I say performance goals, I literally mean pick a task and work towards being able to perform it. That might be running a 5K in X minutes. It might be squatting X% of your body weight. It could be doing a pull-up. Anything which is very binary and is based on doing a thing, having the skills, the strength, the capability to execute a task and do it well. The great thing about training this way is, for me and for a lot of people I work with, I think it is more inherently motivating to work to be able to unlock a new skill or hit that kind of milestone, rather than training to hit a certain number on the scale. For me and for a lot of the people that I've worked with, it's just more fun. It keeps the process a bit more engaging, and you're not as susceptible to like those weekly fluctuations that can come with intentional weight loss, where some weeks you might just gain a little bit of weight, some weeks you might not lose as much as you want, and it can be a little bit harder psychologically to stay engaged on the long term. And the really cool thing about chasing performance athletic goals is a lot of the times the changes that you want from weight loss, whether that is actually losing a little bit of weight, whether that's physique or aesthetic changes, whether that's feeling more physically capable and able to do stuff in your body, and in a lot of cases also just mental health and self-esteem things, a lot of that is going to come by training for performance goals. the less we focus on the thing, a lot of the times the thing is actually kind of easier to achieve. I've worked with lots of clients who, in the course of our training for specific fitness goals, have had some body recomposition where they've dropped some fat, they've gained some muscle. Their aesthetic physique looks very different, but they haven't really gained or lost much weight at all. Sometimes they've actually gotten a bit bigger. But because we've dropped that body fat, we've increased our muscle mass, the aesthetic changes are there, we are moving in the right direction as far as our body image goes, but we haven't had to focus on nutrition or weight loss really at all. So this is one of these clients. So this is Jed on the left here. This was in December, so just before we started working together. And then on the right here, we've got him after our first 8-week block of training. So I can't take all the credit. Jed was a bit of a stud before I even met him. He's an Olympic weightlifter. But when he came to me in January, he wanted a little bit more structure to his training. He was just kind of spinning his wheels and not feeling super motivated to get after it in the gym, but also to broaden his athletic base. It's very strong, but cardio could do with a little bit of work, and wanted to feel generally more athletic in the way that he felt day to day, but also in the way that he moved and trained. And after 8 weeks, by training variously, by combining cardio, strength, and power training, we not only got some good strength PRs in his front squat and his bench press, we've made some technical improvements in his Olympic lifting and generally gotten him a bit faster and twitchier. And we've lost over 4 kilos of body weight without tracking a single calorie, without looking at our macros, or really focusing on weight as a trackable metric whatsoever. And this is such a great example of my training philosophy in action. Without worrying about weight loss, without worrying about aesthetics, without worrying about any of that, just by taking some big lifts, chasing them, and training hard and training regularly, we've gotten all this aesthetic improvement and we've lost a little bit of body fat without having to build our whole program around that. Could he have lost 4 kilos in 8 weeks by doing a really intense diet, by really counting his calories and doing hours and hours of cardio every day? Absolutely. Yeah, fully could have done that, probably in less time. But probably would have had a shit time of it, and he definitely wouldn't have gotten any PRs, whether that's in his cardio capabilities, his strength numbers in his big lifts, or in his Olympic lifting. This just goes to show that you can lose a bit of weight and you can make some aesthetic changes without having to let it dominate your life. And while still having fun in the gym, still eating the food that you actually enjoy and living the life that you want, and making more progress towards being a bit more of an athletic weapon. So if you're new to the gym and you started training to lose a bit of weight and you want some help setting some more performance-orientated goals, what are some of my easiest bits of advice for you to implement right now? Firstly, before we even get into the gym, try and address some of the low-hanging fruit in your lifestyle habits. There's oftentimes a few really simple things that we can implement that are going to have really outsized effects compared to how much effort they take to actually address. The easiest one is your step count. I know a lot of people have talked about this. The horse has been thoroughly beaten to death, but it is such an easy way to increase your overall level of activity and just to move more and feel better in your body. I think where a lot of people struggle with this is they hear that magical 10,000 steps a day number and they fixate on that and they think that if they're not getting that 10,000 step number, then it's pointless. This is completely untrue. You don't have to try and spike your heart. You don't have to try and spike your step count overnight, especially if you have quite a sedentary lifestyle already. Just increase where you're at. Your phone probably has a step counter. Look at roughly the average amount of steps you get on a daily basis and just try and add 1,000 to that. Try and add 2,000 to that. Add a manageable amount. And once you can do that consistently for about a week or so, try and up that target. We can make slow incremental improvements, and that's going to make it a lot easier to maintain over the long term. And it's still going to accumulate to a lot of really good progress. Secondly, you don't have to really count calories or track macros if you just make a few bigger picture changes to your diet and have a bit of self-awareness about them. The easiest ones are increase the amount of protein you're getting and eat a wider range of fruits and vegetables. Increasing your protein is kind of a no-brainer. Again, I know it's really heavily discussed at the moment, but more protein is usually only ever going to be a good thing. It's going to help us recover from our workouts. It's going to help us stay fuller for longer. And it's generally just going to help us with all of our physical endeavors. The same with more fruits and vegetables. It's going to broaden your horizons as far as like the foods that you enjoy. You're going to get more of those micronutrients that we oftentimes forget about when we're talking about macronutrients so often. So macronutrients being carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. But all these micronutrients, all these vitamins and stuff that we can get from all different sources. But a lot of the times, if we're just eating a broad spread of fruits and vegetables, that's going to be really, really good for our health. If you are a little bit of a fussy eater, the easiest way to increase the amount of fruits and vegetables you're eating, is get better at cooking. I'm not the best cook in the world. I am super lazy with my cooking. I have autism meals all the time, but having just the tiniest bit of cooking skill and access to some good condiments, some good seasonings is going to change your life in the way you eat. If you're eating food that sucks, you're not going to want to eat it. You can make any vegetable taste really good. You just need to put a little bit of thought and effort into it. Thirdly, in the gym, you just have to be doing some kind of structured cardio. I think a lot of people, when they think of cardio, even if they're pretty dialed in and pretty strategic with their lifting sessions or their strength work, they have this really nebulous idea of cardio of like, oh, if I feel like it, I might do 20 minutes on the stairs, or I might go for a little run. When you don't have a plan, it's so much easier to skip it. It's so much easier to spin your wheels and not progress. Have workouts planned for your cardio. Doesn't have to be anything super complicated. For a lot of my clients, if they're doing like 2 running sessions a week, doesn't have to be running, but running, for instance, they've got 1 easy run a week and 1 hard run a week. The easy run is just a very gentle pace, bit longer in duration, so 30 plus minutes, but it's a really measured pace. They're just getting a bit of mileage in, just increasing the amount they're actually moving, and also just practicing the skill of running. Then the hard run is usually intervals. So I love 400 meter repeats, going pretty hard with some breaks in between. That's going to be like your high heart rate sort of stuff. Doesn't have to be anything really complicated. The easiest one to do is just move for a set amount of time. Say set a timer for 20 minutes, go whatever pace you want, something a little bit challenging, and see how much distance you cover. Next time you do it, try and go a little bit further, but keep the time the same. If you're just constantly trying to improve week to week to week, and you're doing it regularly, that is going to not only help you drop a bit of body fat, but it's going to keep you motivated to keep training cardio, which is really important for our overall health. And it's also going to translate to your lifting as well. It's going to cut down the time you need to rest between sets. It's just going to make everything feel a bit better. One of my clients actually recently told me that since doing 2 sessions of running a week, everything in life just feels easier. Having good, or not even good, having not shit cardio is one of those things where you don't appreciate it until you actually have it. When you do have it, you're just like, oh man, all these little tasks that would have been more strenuous in my day-to-day life are just easier now. Everything is just a little bit more relaxed. My heart rate isn't as high. I'm not getting out of breath as often. It really is a thing that you can't appreciate until you actually get it. And I think everyone deserves to feel that way. And then lastly, set yourself some goals in the gym. You might want to have 1 cardio goal, 1 strength goal, a couple of different ones from these different buckets of training. But whatever they are, they should be specific. So there should be a thing that you either do or you don't. You can't half do a pull-up. You either do a pull-up or you don't. They should be ambitious, but realistic. So it shouldn't be something that you can achieve in like a week. You should have a rough time frame for how long you want to achieve it. Easiest way to figure that out is to bounce it off of a coach like me, where you can kind of help strategize and plan out some goals. But it should be something that is going to be challenging and going to take a lot of effort to do, but is manageable. It doesn't have to be, I want to be at the next Olympics. It can just be something that is doable, but challenging. And then the most important thing is it should be something that you actually enjoy. If you enjoy it, you're actually going to want to do it. If you just really hate it, you're going to fall off and you're not going to be consistent. Just the act of having a goal, of stating it out loud, of writing it down, having it concrete in your brain is going to do so much good for your training. It's going to clarify your training. So it's going to help you cut out the fluff and kind of reduce the noise in your sessions. It's going to help you make better training decisions, both in and out of the gym. And it is just going to give you a why to your training. And that's going to make you more likely to show up when you're tired, when you're low on motivation. If you have a reason to be there beyond vague, I should be there, I want to be healthier. If you have a concrete goal that's going to take work to achieve, having that sense of purpose makes you way more likely to show up when the going gets tough. So to wrap it up, yes, reducing your body fat, increasing the muscle mass you have on your frame is one of the most straightforward things you can do to live a healthier life. But you don't have to do it in an insane way. You don't have to focus on losing weight, on being shackled to a number on the scale. You don't have to do crazy cuts and really intense diets. You can still live a life that you actually enjoy, eat the foods that you like with a bit of self-awareness, obviously. But if you chase performance-based goals, if you train to be a bit of a specimen, if you really want to unlock these athletic milestones, that is going to get you all of the weight loss and aesthetic improvements that you want, but it's also going to make you much fitter, much healthier, and have a lot more fun in the process. So yeah, that is the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions or if you have any feedback. If you want some more content like this, check out my Instagram page. It is linked in the description below. I'm posting every single day, new videos on this channel every single week. So please watch some of my old videos. Stay tuned for some more videos. If you want some more one-to-one help with your training, if you want to have a bit more direction, if you have watched this video and you want to get a little bit more along that road of performance-based athletic training rather than hours and hours on the Stairmaster to lose weight, drop me a coaching inquiry. There is the application link in the description as well, or you can just message me on Instagram or message me on here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a lovely week of training. Go set some ambitious goals, go set some big lifts, and let's get after it. See you later.